Okay, class, good evening. This is the continuation of the topic for obligations of the vendor. So, this is part 5. But before that class, based on on the video yung video na last na ginawa ko is kung mapapansin nyo parang putol siya. So, actually, kunting discussion na lang sana yung dapat. A sort of advice na lang dapat yung sasabihin ko doon, pero yung maximum kasi na video is only 15 minutes. Pero yung topic about the document of title is hanggang doon lang yung coverage natin. It's because yung mga susunod doon na topic about document of title is matatopic yan on the negotiable instruments law. Hoping that negotiable instruments law will be added to the curriculum of accountancy. But unfortunately, sa pagkakalam ko, negotiable instruments law are tinanggal na sa new curriculum. Dati sa old curriculum, that is part of the accountancy. Pero ngayon, tinanggal na. So, sayang naman. Dapat dapat malaman nyo yung mga bagay na about negotiable instruments law. But for the board exam purposes, so hindi nakasali ang negotiable instruments law. Ang kasali na ngayon is about sa anti-money laundering law, about cooperative, and other. So I think is more on anti-money laundering law. So here, so let's continue. Part 5 of the obligations of the vendor. So start tayo sa Article 15.21. So time and place of delivery of the thing sold. So syempre kapag meron ng perfected contract of sale, dapat si seller daw bound to deliver the thing sold or the goods. And now, so another component of the delivery is the time and place of the delivery. So here, Article 15.21. So basahin nyo na lang yung article, but ito yung mga linalaman niya. First, let's discuss place of delivery. So what will be the rules on place of delivery? Number 2, time for delivery. So ano yung magiging time of the delivery? Next is number 3, goods in the possession of a third person. So what if yung i-deliver ni seller kay buyer is nasa possession ng third person? So what will be the rules? Number 4, demand or tender of delivery. And number 5, expenses of delivery. So sino mag-shoulder ng expenses? So here, first, Article 50, so here, first, place of delivery. So, sa place of delivery class, magiging rules dyan is kung ano yung place stipulated by the parties. So, di ba, meron ng consent, object, and cost. And then, delivery na lang yung kulang. So, yung place of delivery is magbe-based doon sa stipulation ng parties. Next is, how about kung walang stipulation ng parties? So, place fixed by usage or trade. So, first natin sa place of delivery class is una, stipulation. Sir, paano kung walang stipulation? So, ang sabi ng batas, place fixed by usage or trade. So what if yung delivery is mangyayari mismo doon sa market or di kaya place or trade or di kaya doon sa mismong pwesto ng seller. So pwedeng pumunta doon si buyer. Next is in the absence of both, what if walang stipulation, wala ding place fixed by usage or trade? So ang sabi ng batas, the seller's place of business. So doon mangyayari place of business if he has one. If none, the seller's place of residence. However, in the case of sale of specific goods, which to the acknowledge of the parties when the contract was made, where in some other place, that place shall be place of delivery. So, yung place of delivery class, unang rules dyan, stipulation ng parties. Number 2, kung walang stipulation of the parties, fixed by usage or trade. So, let's say for example, market, or di kaya yung biniling goods is mga makinarya. So, ibig sabihin, kukunin yung place of delivery is on the machine shop. So, pwedeng ganon. So, nakadepende dun sa usage ng goods. Dun yung place of delivery. And then, absences ng both stipulation at saka ng usage or trade is dun sa place of business ng seller. So, pwede doon ang delivery. Or di kaya doon sa place ng residence ng seller. Next is time for delivery. So, ano yung time for delivery? Unang-una dyan, stipulation ng parties. So, kapag naka-stipulate yung both parties kung anong oras i-deliver, so yun yung susundin. What if walang stipulation ng time? Delivery must be made within a reasonable time from the execution of the contract. So, reasonable time. So, what is reasonable time? So, it is a question of fact. So, yun yung magiging basis dyan, class. Next, what if the goods is in the possession of the third person? Ang sabi ng batas, Article 1521, the seller has not fulfilled his obligation to deliver the goods unless such third person acknowledge to the buyer that he holds the goods on the buyer's behalf. So, itong goods in the possession of the third person class, mag-a-apply lang ito kung yung goods is wala dun sa possession ng seller. So, what if yung goods is naka-store dun sa warehouse? So, syempre, yung warehouse, ibang tao yung may-ari nun. So, yung goods is in the possession of the third person. So, ang sabi ng batas daw, class, walang delivery na mangyayari unless lang kung yung third person acknowledge the buyer's possession, or buyer acknowledge to the buyer that he holds the goods on the buyer's behalf. So, dapat mag-signify siya ng acknowledgement kay buyer na sabi ng third person, okay, nandito yung goods ni seller. So, since ikaw yung buyer, so ikaw yung owner ng goods. Next, number 4, demand or tender of delivery. It must be made at a reasonable hour to be effectual. So, demand for or tender. So, ang ibig sabihin dito sa number 4 class is, si seller, i-deliver niya. What if si buyer nakalimutan niya yung binili niya? So, siyempre, si seller has the right to tender of delivery. Ibig sabihin, sasabihin niya kay buyer, kunin mo na yung binili mo. So, ita-tender niya. Number 5, expenses of delivery. So, sino mag-shoulder? The seller bears the expenses of the incidental to putting the goods into deliverable state. So, general rule natin, class, ang expenses is si seller ang mag-shoulder. Unless lang kung merong stipulation ng both parties. So, yun lang yung rules sa number 5. Next is Article 1522. So, here in Article 1522, when the quantity delivered is less than that which the parties had agreed upon, the buyer may. So, ano daw ang mangyayari, class, kung yung i-deliver ni seller is less than or mas mababa kaysa dun sa in-order ni buyer? So, ano ang mangyayari? Ito yung rules. Buyer may reject the goods. So, si buyer, pwede niyang i-reject yung goods. Pwede niyang hindi tanggapin yung goods na i-deliver ni seller. So, this is based on the rule that the creditor cannot be compelled to accept partial payment. So, ang rule na ito, class, sa rejection of goods is parang nangutang ka, tapos babayaran ng buo. Sabi ni debtor, pwedeng bayaran ko muna ng partial payment. So, si creditor, pwede siyang magsabi na, ayoko ng partial payment, dapat bayaran mo ng buo. So, ganun din dito, seller and buyer. So, if the seller deliver less than the quantity, so si buyer, pwede niya i-reject yung goods. Next, number 2, rules, pwede niya ring tanggapin ang goods. So, the buyer may accept the goods. However, kapag tinanggap niya yung goods, knowing that seller is not going to perform the contract in full, he must pay for them at the contract rate. So, ibig sabihin daw class, what if, let's say for example, bumili ka ngayon ng 1,000 sacks of rice. Si buyer bumili ng 1,000 sacks of rice kay seller. And then ngayon, si seller, ang kaya niya lang i-deliver is 800 sacks. So, ang magiging rules daw dyan, si buyer pwede niya i-reject yung goods. O di kaya pwede niya ring i-accept yung goods. But, kung in-accept ni buyer yung goods at saka alam ni buyer na hindi kayang i-deliver lahat ni seller yung 1,000 sacks of rice, so babayaran pa rin ni buyer yung 800 sacks of rice based doon sa contract rate. So ang presyo is magbe-base kayo doon sa kontrata. If the buyer has used or disposed of the goods before he knows that the seller is not going to perform his full in contract, the buyer shall not be liable for more than the fair value to him of the goods so receive. So ang other rules dito class sa number 2, accept the goods, is what if daw bumili si buyer kay seller ng 1,000 sacks of rice. And then ngayon, bago pa i-deliver ni seller yung 1,000 sacks of rice kay buyer, si buyer ibenta niya na yung 1,000 sacks of rice sa ibang tao o na third party. Eh later on, nalaman ni buyer na hindi pala kayang i-deliver lahat yung 1,000 sacks of rice ni seller. So ano yung mangyayari? Si buyer daw, sabi dito, the buyer shall not be liable for more than the fair value to him of the goods so receive. So ibig sabihin daw, si buyer hindi siya magiging liable, 'di ba? 800 lang yung kayang i-deliver ni seller. So si buyer daw hindi siya magiging liable over the 200 na kulang. So that will be the rule. Next is when the quantity delivered is more than that. So paano naman kung sobra yung i-deliver ni seller? So what will be the rule? Accept the goods agreed upon and reject the rest. So pwede niyang tanggapin kung ilan lang yung nasa kontrata. At saka yung sobra, pwede niyang i-reject ni buyer. Next, accept the whole of the goods delivered and pay for them at a contract rate. So let's say for example, bumili si buyer ng 1,000 sacks of rice kay seller. And then ngayon, yung dineliver ni seller, 1,100 sacks of rice. So yung rules daw doon, pwede niyang tanggapin yung 1,000 sacks of rice lang. I-reject niya yung excess na 100 sacks. Or di kaya, pwede niyang i-accept yung all in all 1,100 sacks of rice. Babayaran niya at a contract rate. Naintindihan? So let's say for example, yung 1 sack is costs 2,000. So based sa kontrata nila, 1,000 sacks of rice multiplied by 2,000, so that is 2 million. Tama ba? 2 million. Eh paano yung 100 sacks of rice? Pwede daw yun i-accept ni buyer yung 100 sacks of rice tapos yung magiging presyo is 100 sacks multiplied by 2,000. Naintindihan? So magbe-base ka dun sa contract rate. Next, pwede niya i-reject the whole of the goods if they are indivisible. So reject the whole goods if they are indivisible. So ibig sabihin nito class, kapag sobra daw yung i-deliver ni seller kay buyer, pwede niyang i-reject lahat yung goods kung yung goods is an indivisible. Anong ibig sabihin ng indivisible? It is not capable for a partial. Hindi pwedeng mag-partial. Let's say for example, let's say for example, lupa. So bumili si buyer ng lupa kay seller, 1 hektarya. So land is cannot be partial. Hindi ibig sabihin, let's say for example, 1,000 square meter yung binili, yung dineliver ni seller is 1,200. So, pwede niya i-reject yung land ni buyer.